guys, Cash Brown back again. Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. So before we jump into this fabulous video, I just wanted to thank all of my new subscribers. The support I got on the last video was absolutely amazing. As I said in my last video, I've wanted to make kind of reactionary commentary stuff surrounding things like men's rights and stuff like that. I wanted to do that for a really long time, but I just didn't know if it's what people wanted to see, so I kind of hesitated on doing that. But after the support from my last video, I definitely feel like I can make these videos, and you never know, maybe people want to watch them. So I will still be doing gaming content and stuff like that. I had a suggestion from one of my fabulous new subscribers to do playlists. So one playlist will be for my gaming content, one will be for kind of commentary and men's rights stuff and the more political side of things. I think that's a fantastic idea, so thank you to the person who recommended that I do that. So we will be doing that. I will be doing some gaming stuff and some stuff like this, because I'm passionate about both. So I want my channel to reflect kind of who I am and what I'm passionate about, and I feel like this is a really good way to do that. Today, we are going to be reacting to some TikToks, and that in itself, you know it's going to be bloody good. These TikToks are some women complaining about the hashtag not all men. So you know that it's just going to be... It's going to be something. It's going to be something. But before we do that, can I ask, if you're not subscribed yet, please consider subscribing. Your support means everything to me, and I would really appreciate it.
The odds of being attacked by a shark, 1 in 4 million. The odds of a woman being raped, 1 in 6. Your fear of sharks is seen.
I know you told your friend you're not okay, and tell me what's wrong and why you never said you felt that way. And guess you're trying to stay strong and fake a smile until I look away. But I've known you too long, it hurts to watch your blue eyes fade to gray as you fade away, as you fade away.
What? I get kind of frustrated when I hear statistics like 1 in 5 women will be raped, because are we taking into account false reports? I feel like there are so many variables in that can't possibly be an accurate number. It just can't. And is it saying actual rape? Is it saying attempted rape? Is it saying sexual assault as a whole? So I don't know. I'm a bit hesitant to believe the statistics. All right.
So why be scared of all tribe mates? It does not make sense.
Why are some of you big brain men on this app so incapable of understanding such a simple concept?
Oh my God.
How many times do we have to say, we know it's not all men? The reason we say men instead of some men is because it stops men who consider themselves good guys from tuning out of the conversation because I'm not like those other guys. Also, this dude had the audacity to come in my comment section and tell me that this isn't a gender issue. Violence against women and girls is literally a gender-based issue. Pretending like it's not is never going to actually solve anything because it never gets to the root of the problem, which is misogyny. Ugh. Instead of crying about it not being all men, why don't you actually engage in the subject matter? Engage with the fact that 1 in 3 women in their lifetime will either be physically or sexually abused by a man.
1 in 3 now.
Engage with the fact that more women in the US in the last 2 decades have died at the hands of a husband or boyfriend than anyone who has died in 9/11, Afghanistan, and Iraq. Engage with the fact that this is a gender issue that was perpetuated by a power dynamic that was created by a male-dominated patriarchy.
Oh my
you won't,
God.
though, because it challenges your narrow-minded.
Wow, she seems like a lot of fun. She definitely seems like the kind of girl you'd want to invite to a party. It's like, it's not a gender-based issue because we're talking about women. Yeah, but why are you not considering men? Men are also killed at the hands of their girlfriends. Men also experience sexual assault. Like, is it fair to say that women are rapists? This is what frustrates me so much, because people like this lovely lady say all of this stuff, right? But if you were to turn it on its head and throw it back at them, then it would become a problem. To say that women are rapists because there are some women rapists, or to say that women are serial killers because there are some serial killers. That's not right, is it? So why is it okay to say it's all men, and we say men so that men look within themselves? Like, shut up. What are you talking about? whether you say it's men or some men, do you really think that's making like a profound difference on how men are approaching this? In fact, I think that a lot of men are going to fight back against this even more, because you're saying that men are all these horrible things, not some men. And when you say things like that, don't be surprised when people come back and say it's not all men, because it's not all men, and it's not fair to blanket statement and say men. Much like what she says here, why are some of you big brain men on this app so incapable of understanding such a simple concept? Like, you shouldn't say men when you're talking about some men. You shouldn't say women if you're talking about some women. Like, don't be offended when men are trying to stand up for themselves when you're saying horrible things about men as a whole. How are you not understanding this?
Not all black people, but I don't know which black people, so I'm wary of all black people. I would never make that argument because it is racist.
How likely are you to
Fair
be
enough.
attacked by a black person? That's a genuine question because I can't find a statistic on it. How likely are you as a white man to be attacked by a black person? 1 in 10? 1 in 20? 1 in 30? Give me a number. It's almost as if it's not a prominent issue for you and it's not really something you have to worry about. Because I can give you a number on how many women have been sexually assaulted by a man.
No, you
1 in
can't.
5.
That's not accurate.
We all know it. 1 in 5.
We all do
There's
we?
a 20% chance that I will be sexually assaulted by a man in the UK. It's already happened multiple times. 2 times last year, one of which was my doctor.
Oh
You're
my
making a
God.
false comparison and you know it. The thing is though, I haven't heard anyone say all men other than the men saying not all men. I think we all agree that it's not all men. We
So
all
stop
know
saying
it's
men!
not all men. But when I hear you tell me it's not all men, you're telling me that you not being seen as a rapist is more important than me not being raped. You're telling me that you're not going to help me clear up this issue until you know that your reputation is clear. And if you bring racism into this is like when a black person talks about an issue with racism and I turn around as a white person and go, but I'm not racist. That's not the point, babe. But here's the difference. I have learned that my white fragility
Here we go.
is not more important than black fragility. Your male fragility is not more important than the women who are being killed by their partners. Your male fragility is not more important than the women who are being raped by the men that they trusted.
Yep.
Not all men are rapists, but most rapists are men. I don't give a fuck about your male fragility.
But that goes 2 ways, does it not? I don't give a fuck about your hissy fit. This is, I will die on this hill if I must. I, as a logical thinking woman, I just cannot believe the statistic of 1 in 5. Is it 1 in 5 confirmed cases, or is it 1 in 5 women will report it? Because 1 in 5, that is a big number. And the thing is, when you do this comparing bullshit, well, I can't find statistics on this, but I can find statistics on this, so this one's more valid. Just because there are statistics on something doesn't make it more valid than something else. I personally think that's a really shitty point to make. The thing is, there have been men who have killed women. No one's debating that. There have also been women who have killed men. Men have sexually assaulted women. Women have sexually assaulted men. Why is it such a horrible thing for a man to try to defend himself by saying, hey, I'm not a rapist? And the point that she makes is, oh, well, it's like saying that you're not a racist if you're a white person. What's the problem with that? If you're not a racist, why can't you defend yourself to people like this by saying, hey, I'm actually not that thing. I'm half Indigenous, half English, right? So I have one side of my family is very white and the other side of my family is very, very dark. And I don't know, man. I wouldn't get offended if someone said, I'm not racist. If you acted racist and then was like, I'm not racist, that would be an issue. But to just defend yourself from somebody making baseless claims, calling you racist because you just happen to be white, because that's how it is now. All white people are apparently racist and white privilege and all these things. Like, why can people not defend themselves against these claims? I guarantee if I made a claim about this fine young lady, that she would defend herself. If I said that she was an axe murderer and she said that she wasn't an axe murderer, Is that wrong? And are you then not looking at the issue of people being axe murdered? It is just so, these points are always so messy and so illogical, and it hurts my brain. All right, let's see what this one's all about.
Men protect women.
From what? From what? Tigers, lions, wild animals, dinosaurs, from what? You all have this stupid fucking conception that men protect women.
You all have this stupid conception. I don't know, man. If you're going to call somebody stupid, maybe don't immediately follow that up with using a word incorrectly. It's kind of like pot, kettle, black, you know?
Men whose job is to protect could not protect children a couple days ago. Regardless, let's get back to the question, from what?
What?
Other men? So you agree
Women?
men are dangerous. Like, at least some of them are dangerous, right?
Of course
because
some of
I
them.
can already fucking hear some idiot screeching, not all men. But how are we supposed to know exactly which fucking men? How do you assess, without putting yourself in danger, which men are fucking dangerous? Because for all we know, there are so many men out there who are playing nice to get what they want, but when they can't, they're abusive pieces of fucking shits. So we are going to play around the idea that men protect women because you have some fucking ego trip or some shit. But we're going to dismiss the fact that men are the ones who are harming women. How about instead of preaching men protect women, we teach fucking men not to harm women and children? But no, that doesn't work, right? Because you want women and children to be fucking vulnerable so that you can step in and lure them into your fucking safety. Instead of dismantling the fucking social norms and patriarchal constructs that are causing harm to these people, you want to tell women that men are not dangerous, while you know full well men are fucking dangerous. You all incels are such fucking pieces of shits.
Yeah, no. Everyone else is the problem. That was mind-blowing to me, because how the fuck do you sit there, men are evil, men are horrible, men are lying, and men are... You're a man. What are you talking about? So the mere fact that this video exists shows that it's not all men. And this man at the beginning, this man said three words, men protect women, 3 words. And this other psychopath was able to go on and on for a minute and a half about all of these things that man meant by those 3 words. I'm pretty sure, and I don't know what video that was taken from, but I'm pretty sure he means what he said. Men are the protector. It's just how it is. I want my man to be able to protect me because I'm a woman. And if another man, because there are bad men, everyone admits this, or even a fucking psychotic woman, if I'm being attacked by somebody else, I want my man to be able to defend me. Why is this a problem? There are men who protect women. Men for centuries have been the protector and the provider of the family. And you know what? Just because you have a problem with that doesn't mean everybody does. And he is literally a man on here talking about how shitty men are while he's trying to speak for and defend women, which in itself is kind of sexist, because who the fuck asked you to speak for women? Alright.
4% of sex crimes, men do 96%.
Now, with statistics like that, please explain to me why not all men would be your initial reaction.
Welcome to another episode of mansplaining shit to certain women who have more makeup than brains. I'm everyone's favorite dickhead, Leroy. Now, never thought I'd have to do this again. Oh, I am asking for another wave of feminists who are trying to debunk my analogy.
I love him!
This glass here represents the sex crimes. This glass represents the women. This glass represents the men. Realistically speaking, if I wanted to do a more accurate example, these glasses would be much larger when you take into consideration that sex crimes make up a very small percentage of the overall population. But for the sake of the example, just bear with me. 96% by the men, and the 4% by the women.
Well,
But don't worry about that stuff. That's just the stuff that doesn't get reported.
That was a good save.
It's not all of us, is it? I hope you learned something today. Stay pressed.
Okay, so I could not agree with him more. How can you say, look, 96%, that's a big number. I'm not even going to look into it. Whether I agree, disagree, it's not really the point. But how can you say 96% and then say, see, it's all men? 96% is not all. So let's see what Trans Violet Official has to say.
The majority of rapists are men. This is an empirical fact. I don't like this fact, but it is a fact. Men are raped too, though. Yes, mostly by other men. Women rape just as much as men do. You have zero empirical evidence to support that claim, but for the sake of keeping this conversation going, why do you think that? Men are raped just as much as women, they just report it less. Rape is vastly underreported across the board, but why do you think men are not reporting? Because they're scared no one will believe them. Why? Because men are supposed to always want sex, and no one would believe that a woman could force a man to have sex with her. Why? Because society thinks men are strong and women are weak. Why?
Oh my god. Toxic masculinity, the patriarchy. There we go. And I love that she has this pretend conversation with herself, and then she speaks sense to herself, and then of course, because it's herself, she sees the light at the end of the tunnel and she understands that she's been wrong all along. The thing is, the things that one of the versions of her said, the things that she was saying are very much accurate. Men do report it less. There are, like, a lot of what she just said is actually super valid. And you can't invalidate one side of the argument and claim that your side of the argument is valid. There are women who have the same thing happen to them, and they're afraid to come forward because they're scared they're not going to be believed, they're embarrassed, there's a lot of shame around it. But it is historically easier for women to come forward because women are more vulnerable, we're weaker. And there is this, I don't know, I hate to use this term, this toxic masculinity that they go on with, where men are supposed to be seen as big and strong. And a lot of men, whether it's happened to them or not, they're not going to report it. It's just how it is. And here we go again down the rabbit hole of crazy.
You were right. It is not all men.
Good.
But it is enough men. And unfortunately, it is all women. I do not know a single woman who has not been made to feel uncomfortable by the presence of a man.
Hi, you're wrong, you're lying. I'm a woman, very nice to meet you. I do not feel uncomfortable in the presence of men. Maybe it's just you, and maybe it's the men you're hanging out with. But I have never seen or met a woman. Bitch! I love hanging out with blokes. I have so much more in common with men than I do with women, especially these days. When I'm hanging out with my friends, I want to relax and I want to have fun. But imagine being friends with some of these kinds of people. It is no wonder that I choose to spend a lot of my time around the male population. I promise you, I feel more uncomfortable around women than I do men.
And think about that.
You're wrong.
Think about the women in your life when she leaves the house. Does she wonder if she will return home safely?
Oh my God.
Because I do not know a single woman who has not checked over her shoulder twice, who has not taken out her headphones just to listen for footsteps, who has not analysed the shadows to see if there is someone behind her, who has not pretended to be on the phone just so he thinks someone is listening, who has not texted her friends to say that the taxi got her home safe, who has not shared her location on her first date. Did you know that sending unwanted dick pics is still not technically a crime? Did you know
Obviously
that only a third of rapes actually go reported? Did you know?
Oh my God.
That out of the reported rapes, less than 2% actually end in conviction, and you wonder why we are so scared. These rapists walk free, and we do not know who their next victim will be. What if it is me?
That one was just something, wasn't it? Holy shit. This is the thing. I'm gonna say it, and I'm gonna mean it, and whether you like it or not, I'm sorry. All men are not rapists. Are there bad people out there? Men and women? Yes, there are. There are terrible men out there, but there are also terrible women out there. Should we start judging the whole female population because there are bad women? How many women use custody over their ex-husbands or ex-partners to get back at them? How many women falsely accuse men of shit that they haven't done and then come out and admit they were lying and they don't press charges? You know what? The world isn't fair on both sides. But please, for the love of God, woman to woman, stop acting like the victim. It's so frustrating. Yeah, I look over my shoulder at nighttime sometimes just to be safe. Am I looking for men or am I looking for people that would do me harm?
If men did not exist, I would go to the store like this. But men still do exist, so I'll go like this.
Not all men!
Yes, we know.
If men didn't exist, you wouldn't exist, you absolute moron. I don't understand how these women stand there and say all this shit when they've got a dad. Well, maybe they don't have a dad. That would explain so much. But they've got fathers and brothers and men in their life that they care about. These women have to know that all men aren't pieces of shit, and men have the right to say that all men aren't pieces of shit when crazy feminists treat men like all men are pieces of shit. It's not a hard concept to understand. There are so many other things out there that could still cause you harm. You probably should just be wary of how you present yourself to the public regardless. You could wear that dress, and this is a hypothetical. You could wear that dress, another woman could see you. She could be a bad woman. She could be out to harm other people. She could see you in a dress and think, she's got money, I'm going to rob her, right? She could be a lesbian and still end up sexually assaulting her. To keep pinning like sexual assault and rape and all these horrible things on men while just overlooking the fact that there are so many women who do the exact same thing as men, it is just maddening. And the thing is, I would have so much more respect for these people if they were like, look, there are some shitty women, dude. There are really, really bad women. And there are some shitty guys too, and there are really, really shitty guys, but there are really good women and there are really good men. But I personally feel like there are more men that do harm, whatever. If you approach it like that, I would have a lot more respect for you. But they don't do that. They never talk about how women rape men, how women lie about men raping women, how women steal men's children to use them as some kind of revenge plan against men. And those kind of things are almost 100% exclusive to women doing it towards men. So why aren't we talking about that? Why are we picking and choosing what's important to us this week and just doubling down on that?
Between saying all men and some men, but my lovely lesbian queen.
This is such a brain dead take, but I am.
Oh God, it's her again. It's the life of the party. Imagine being so narcissistic and so full of yourself that you think it's okay to go on social media and call people brain dead. And what was it before? She was saying, oh, you big-brained men.
I am explaining to you why it's wrong. We as humans generalize things all the time. The example I like to use is when we say, be careful around ticks because ticks carry Lyme disease. No one says, well, not all ticks carry Lyme disease, because logically we understand that enough ticks carry Lyme disease that you could be infected. Now, personally, I'm a radical feminist, and I have never once heard a woman—
Oh, shit! No shit, you're a radical feminist. You could have fooled me.
Who has said all men are rapists. So that's just disingenuous to place that ideology onto us. But when we speak up about women's oppression and women's abuse, we obviously know it's not all men. But when 1 in 3 women in their lifetime are either raped or physically abused by a man, it is enough men. That is enough men to make all women afraid.
Wrong. I'm a woman, not afraid. Sorry. This is exactly what these people are saying. Stop fucking generalizing. Stop saying men. And okay, we know it's not all men, but then she just said all women are afraid. I am a woman. I think last time I checked, I'm a woman. So even if it's just me, even if I'm the only woman left who doesn't buy into this bullshit, it's not all women, is it? Even if it's the vast majority, it's not all women. Oh, and I just want to mention quickly before we finish watching this. Have you noticed since the beginning of this video that the statistics have changed multiple times? It was 1 in 5, then 1 in 4, then 1 in 3. Did she say 1 in 3 or 1 in 2? It doesn't really matter at this point. Then 1 in 4 again. I find it so interesting that the statistics that I doubted to begin with just keep changing, almost as if they're not reliable statistics to begin with.
That is enough men that when I'm walking home alone at night, I have to assume it's all men to keep myself safe. But when men like you sit on this app and make our pain and our abuse and our oppression about yourselves, it is helping no one. We know it's not all men, but it's enough men to keep us in a constant state of fear, and that's how oppression works.
That sounds like a you problem, babes. Stop blaming other people for the way you feel, for the way you act, for the things you think. It is not up to anybody else to decide stuff like that for us. And if you are that weak-minded and weak-willed that that's how it is for you, then I'm not sure that men are the problem. If you walk around in a constant state of fear, and she doesn't seem very fearful, just in general, but if you walk around in a constant state of fear, is that anyone else's fault other than your own? Again, I have had things happen to me in the past where I've been seriously hurt by men. But I don't walk around in a constant state of fear. And I just wonder, because, you know, this is how this happens. They say things like, all women feel this way. And then when a woman comes forward and says, actually, no, I don't feel this way. Then they say things like, oh, well, you're like a man lover. Like, they will minimize what you're saying because it doesn't fit their narrative, which I find interesting because women are so badly oppressed and it's so wrong unless you disagree with me, in which case I'm gonna oppress you. But I can't help but wonder what the difference is between, say, for example, me and her. But let's say hypothetically, we have both been through the exact same experiences. What could the difference be between me and her? And I don't have an answer for you. That's a genuine question. Why are you so oppressed and fearful and men are horrible and the patriarchy and I'm so oppressed and oh my God. Why are you like that but I'm not? I will say I've had years of therapy. I've spent a very, very long time working on myself. And maybe she hasn't. Or maybe she hasn't gone to enough sessions. I don't know. It's a genuinely curious thing to me where I just don't understand why some women are so badly oppressed that it becomes their entire personality. And other women like me understand that shit happens. Shit happens to men and to women. But it's kind of up to you what you do with that. You spend your entire life going around being a victim and people are gonna treat you as such. So she compared men to ticks, which is like, fuck, Jesus Christ. But it's so easy to do something like that, right? The analogy that I'm gonna use, right, is, say for example, I'm in high school and there is one particular girl at school who just makes my life hell, right? It happens to a lot of us. Just bullies me relentlessly, just picks on me every single day. I don't want to go to school anymore because of this girl, and she's just awful, right? Now, imagine if I then said women, and I'm not saying all women, but imagine if I said women are bullies because of an experience I had with one bad person. Does that seem fair to you? Or is it only okay when you're doing it towards men? All right, so this is going to be the last one that we watch. And I hope and pray that it's just not that bad. Because I've put myself through so much already today watching these brain dead takes. Since the other lady can call people brain dead, I assume so can I. So let's get it out of the way.
Hating all men is an inherently sexist idea because you're blaming the entire male population.
I'm stitching it again because I'm not done. Okay. My least favorite thing that these conservative Barbies do is try and flip the script when they don't understand the script. They can't read the language the script is written in, and now they want to try and flip it. If you can't...
She probably has heaps of friends. Don't you reckon? This is what I find so interesting. Women are oppressed, okay? Women are victims. Women are victims of the patriarchy and poor us. But then if a woman has a different view to you, you're okay with calling her a conservative Barbie. because she is saying that blaming all men for the actions of some men is sexist, which by definition it is. What is sexism? The literal definition of sexism is discrimination or judging somebody because of their sex. It's in the name. I just... The idea that there are people out there who think that sexism only happens to women, it just blows my mind. And is calling somebody a Barbie not kind of sexist in itself? Definitely judgmental and really fucking bitchy.
You can't understand that society functions with main groupings of people as systems to give certain people power over others.
Yes.
Then why are you talking about sexism? Because you don't understand it. It's a system. It's not an individual thing. When people criticize men, they are criticizing the system that is the patriarchy.
So everyone's an idiot because when people criticize men, they're not criticizing men. Even though they're doing it by criticizing men, what they're actually criticizing is the system. That's why it's called systemism. What? Oh, and the aggression, like... Just try to be a nice person. Just try to be nice. Is it that fucking hard?
A system that infiltrates individual minds at a rapid rate.
I'm sorry, the words infiltrate, not infiltrates, although I now see that she's reading this from somewhere.
And pretending like girls are just making this up is so ridiculous. When the system is so visible and obviously affects you in your daily life.
But another woman has said this. So you're basically, and I'm going to do what these lovely people love doing. So basically what you're saying is her opinion as a woman is less valid because it's not the same opinion as you. The fucking hypocrisy drives me insane. But I cannot, and I will not watch another one of these. I do like to watch things like this as much as it just boils my blood. I do like to watch stuff like this because I like to see the bullshit that is going around, primarily on apps like TikTok, that are just, it's just this on the entire app, more or less. But I do like to see the rubbish that these people are talking about. I think it's so interesting. Like, as soon as somebody doesn't agree with you, they're a conservative, or they're this, they're that. What you're basically doing is judging and invalidating them because they don't have the same opinion as you do. And believe it or not, Miss Narcissistic, not everybody has to have the same opinion as you because you're not right 100% of the time. Nobody is. I recognize that people are going to have different opinions to me. And even though that might piss me off sometimes because I'm only human and I'm flawed, 9 times out of 10, I understand that it's okay to have a different opinion to other people, unless you're going to go out belittling them, demeaning them, attacking them. Oh, hang on. Unless you're going to go out and attack people because they have a different opinion. Like, it's fine. It's okay for everyone to be different and to have different views and to have different beliefs and different opinions. That's okay. And just this strategy of screaming at people to try to force them to believe the same bullshit you believe, it's insanity. And the problem is apparently men, and it's apparently the patriarchy, and it's toxic masculinity and all this bullshit. But as soon as a woman says something against these women, they're also a problem. So I don't think the problem is with men or the patriarchy or all this other shit. It's just narcissistic, arrogant twats on TikTok that want the entire world to believe what they're believing and to look up to them and what they say is gospel. And it's just not how life is. Seeing this kind of stuff is becoming more and more common on social media. These idiots put this shit out there. A little girl watches it. Then she believes that the patriarchy is evil and men are evil and she needs to look over her shoulder every time she walks down the street. It's not a healthy message to send. It is a bunch of victims saying, hey, come over here, be victims with us. And I just can't see that being beneficial for society. Life is hard, man. Life is hard regardless of your gender. The reality is, life is fucking hard. Whether you're a man, woman, child, cat, dog, life is hard. Bad people exist, and bad people will hurt you if they are given the opportunity to do so. You've got to get to a point where you take some responsibility for the things that you can control. You can't control other people's actions, but you can control how it impacts you, how you take it on board, how it impacts the way you look at the world, the way you treat other people. You need to take hold of the things you can control and work on that. To go around all day, every day, talking about how horrible men are and women are, like, it just must be such a fucking headache. But as annoying as that video was, I do hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, can I please ask that you subscribe to the channel? Your support means the absolute world to me, and I would really appreciate it. Let me know in the comments down below if you agree with any of these, if you agree with anything I say. Any kind of thoughts, put them in the comments down below. Otherwise, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I love you with all my heart, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.